How are you folks? So today I would like to show you guys how to make one of my personal favorites. Been cooped up for a few days. As you can see, I'm growing a beard. I'm basically unemployed right now, so I'm cooking. But I want to show you how to make one of my favorite dishes, and that is a pretty important staple in the kitchen is chicken stock. And we can use this to make chicken soup. I use it in my chicken marsala and various other ingredients, and you can freeze it, it'll last a very long time. And I highly recommend that you make your own. It's delicious and it's very easy to make. So let's do it. First step to making chicken stock is you open a beer and then you have a sip. All right, let's do it. You didn't think I was gonna put that in my chicken stock, did you? All right, folks, so one of the main ingredients, obviously, of chicken stock is chicken, right? So what I've done here, these are chicken carcasses from chickens that I've butchered myself to make fried chicken, and this is the leftover back with a little bit of meat on it, and that's really great, a great thing for chicken stock. Get a lot of bone marrow, and it'll give it some great flavor. If you notice, I've also saved the necks and the wingtips. There are 4 wingtips in here, and what the wingtips do is they add sort of a collagen-y effect to the stock, making it nice and thick. Now you could, and I've roasted it as you see, and the reason we do that is because we want that nice browning. It's going to give our stock some great flavor. You could also use the remains of a chicken that you roasted in the oven. Just cut away the meat and use the back. If you have any additional bones, it's great. Just chop them up, break them down with a cleaver, and just throw them in. The more the merrier. So let's do it. So as you can see here, I'm fortunate to have a very large stock pot, but any large pan will do. This bad boy is made by Brooklyn Copper, and it'll set you back about $1,000. Needs a good polishing. As you can see, like this guy up here has been more recently polished, but I've been kind of lazy. But I'm gonna try to polish them all. So anyway, as you can see, this is a small space here, and we make it work. So we have our chicken, and what I'm gonna do is just place the chicken. Sorry guys. Just gonna put the chicken in my pot. Okay, and could probably have got away with a smaller pot, but I'm just gonna use the large pot, which I rarely get to use. So we're just gonna place our chicken in there, and we're gonna cover it just with cold water, right from the tap. Okay, so that's the chicken, and probably gonna make about, the yield of this is gonna be about 10 cups. So just gonna take cold water from the tap and cover that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I've covered the chicken by a couple of inches. I would say I have about 12 or more cups of water in there, but we're gonna cook it down, and we're gonna lose some to evaporation. Okay, so we're gonna get that up on the burner. I'm gonna put it on high just for a little bit on my wok burner. And now let's get to our ingredients. So we want to put two stalks of celery. I'm gonna cut them up a little bit. The carrots, 2 carrots, I'm gonna split them. And these are just leftover the ends of onions and some onion skin, and that's good stuff. Just save it, don't throw them out. We're gonna put a couple of bay leaves in, and we're gonna use the stems of the celery, just the stems. We don't want the leaves because they're gonna discolor our stock. Same thing with the yellow onions. The white is actually better because that will slightly discolor your stock, but it'll still be delicious. Some garlic, and we're gonna cut that garlic in half, and just right in the skin like that, and we're just gonna put it right in just like that. Okay, and I'm gonna cut off about so much of the celery, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna just toss this in, and we're gonna bring it to a boil. Okay, we're also gonna add some peppercorns, 2 bay leaves, but we're gonna wait on the peppercorns for a little bit because I'm gonna skim the top of the stock. See, there's a lot of build up there, and if you put the peppercorns in now, you're gonna skim them out. So I'm gonna wait until it's hit a boil. I'm gonna skim that, And then I'm gonna add a small handful of pepper. As you can see, all of my ingredients are in the pan. And I'm just gonna let that hit a boil. And then I'm gonna turn it down to a simmer. These are my peppercorns. Remember, I'm not gonna put them in yet, but that's just to get an idea of just what'll fit in like the center of my palm. You know, I don't know, about 15, 20 pieces, okay? In any color, white, combined, doesn't really matter. And once that gets to a simmer, I'm gonna just slightly cover it so we don't lose too much to evaporation. And that's gonna cook for about 6 hours. And then we're gonna strain it. That's the next. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna skim. So you see, we're gonna get a little bit of a buildup of foam in there. And I just wanna skim that away with my little hand strainer here. And that's why I did not put in my peppercorns. So I'm gonna get out as much of that as I can. And then I'm gonna add my peppercorns. Okay. And then you notice I didn't put in any salt. I will salt it, but it's not necessary for cooking. And because I'm gonna cook away some of this water, I don't wanna over salt it. So I'm just gonna wait a little bit, but I like to use sea salt. Really just salt to taste. Teaspoon or two. Okay, so that's looking good. Got most of the foam out of there. Okay, and now gotta turn that flame down. It's way too high. And I'm just gonna turn it down to a simmer. Skim out a little bit more of the foam there. Just to keep it clean. Okay. And okay, and then I add my peppercorns, and that's basically it. We're going to just let that cook for about 6 hours, and that simmer, as you can see, that's a little too high. It's going to come down. It's just that it's a copper pan, so it's a superconductor. Let me turn it down a little bit, just a very low simmer like that. I'm going to put my cover on, and when I'm done, I'm going to take this strainer here, which is a little bit finer, if you can see, and I'm going to strain that into another dish. If you don't have a strainer like that, you can use cheesecloth, put it in a colander. Also, I love these glass jars. You can get them at Home Goods. You can freeze the stock in there or just keep it in the fridge for a couple of days. The other thing you can do, and which I'm going to do, is because I'm using backs, there's not a lot of skin, so it's not very fatty. What I'm going to do is just strain this into another pan, and I'm going to make chicken soup with it directly. If it were more fatty, if I was using a whole chicken or it had more skin, you'd want to cool it first and get rid of the fat. When it cools, the layer of fat will form at the top and it's easy to peel away. But again, this is not really a very fatty stock, so I can use it immediately. I don't really have to cool it. And that is basically it, guys. Put my peppercorns in there. We're gonna cover it and let that go for 6 hours. And it's gonna be delicious. The whole house smells like it already. And that's how you make chicken stock.